The Hawaii Sports Radio Network on 95.1 FM and AM 760 presents Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani, right alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. 95.1 FM, AM 760, HawaiiSportsRadio.com, on demand wherever you get your podcast, and special YouTube live stream this morning. So streaming live on our YouTube channel right now, because we just had so much to get into yesterday that we didn't get to. And you know what? Why not? Because we just didn't want some of the graphics and stuff to go to waste. So we are here doing our YouTube live stream, so you guys can tune in, chime in the live chat, or text us at 808-888-KG1. That's 808-888-5481. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. I did want to first start off in showing my outfit for my fit, excuse me. I want to be a young person. My fit, not outfit. We take out the out nowadays. My fit for today, I am rocking a HPU basketball t-shirt and a Chaminade Silver Swords hat. I know normally that is frowned upon, but you know what? We're just going to rep both of them today on this live stream.
Give you the pass today.
Because we got that massive Pac West matchup coming up tonight between the men's and women's basketball teams. So be sure you guys can either come on down to the Shark Tank, or you can watch live on Spectrum Sports featuring our guy Paul Brecht over here alongside Kanoa Leahy, as one of our listeners said when they listened or tuned into the broadcast via like television or something, that, wow, it seemed like I was listening or watching, Let's Talk Sports in the Den. So we will get the dual blend of the morning shows that their show is going on right now as well. So it's going to be fun to see you and Kanoa there. I'll be there in attendance at the Shark Tank. I can imagine Michael Lasquero will be there. I talked to some of our usual UH friends that go to UH basketball games that they're planning to go down to the Shark Tank tonight. It's going to be packed. I saw there's like free pizza and stuff for students, I think. And games at 5 and 7, by the way.
There's a whole bunch of stuff because there's a tailgate in between games. Mm-hmm. The HPU choir is doing the anthem and the pono'i for both games. So they'll kind of be featured. There's about half an hour, 25 minutes between games for that tailgate as well. It's awesome. I'm super pumped. I know that it's really exciting for these programs. I know that it's really exciting for a lot of people just here in Hawaii who have recently been introduced to both of these teams, or at least been reintroduced to how good they are. So I'm glad that sounds like a few people might be making their way out tonight to see what I think is going to be a really, really fun, competitive game. And by the way, a really important game, the opening of Pac West play, and two teams who are going to be vying for those 6 spots later on this season.
Yeah, so be sure you guys tune in. We'll get to more of the preview coming up a little later in this show, as Paul will have your full preview again, both men's and women's games, 5 and 7, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's 5 and 7. 5 and 7 p.m., but the Spectrum Sports, so it'll start like a little bit later based on their clock and everything like that. So, again, tune in or come on down to the Shark Tank. We'd love to see you there, and it gets really loud. There's not a lot of seating, so just come in, partake in the festivities, or, again, you can watch it on television via Spectrum Sports. So it's going to be a good time. And like I said, we'll get into more of the actual preview of the game coming up a little later in the show. Also coming up on the show, we will, some of the stuff that we didn't get to yesterday, we definitely need to talk about Rainbow Wahine basketball following their tournament as they look to go on the road now to go out and open Bold Week for the Big West Conference. But, I know a lot of fans not too are excited about just Hawaii not getting any wins over the weekend in that tournament, but a lot of good things to take away for this Rainbow Wahine basketball team now that they are somewhat wrapped up with the non-con. Again, Bulge Week is kind of funky. It kind of we start conference play, but then they still have some other non-con games to play ahead of the New Year's official tip-off to the Big West Conference season. So We'll talk some women's basketball coming up. We'll also talk a little bit more of UH football because we didn't get to some of the senior interviews that our Michael Lasquero did with Jalen Smith and Jackie Johnson III following the senior night game against Wyoming.
There was a lot to get into yesterday.
Yeah, which we spent a lot of time talking UH football, deservedly so. But all parts in between. So we got a lot of stuff to discuss on top of other things going on. A lot has happened, I felt like, between yesterday's show and today in terms of the coaching carousel going on in college football. Yesterday, we were meaning to get a little bit more into the whole Lane Kiffin LSU thing, but I feel like the cycle has restarted because there has been a lot of coaching changes, a lot of coaching moves, a lot of rumors that are in play, including at Cal, where it seems like nobody is rooting for Nick Rolovich to get that head coaching position at Cal and just want him to remain the interim. So there is a lot, and we'll get you guys updated with everything that we have been able to kind of dig up for the last 24 hours. But again, yes, tune in on YouTube or wherever you're tuning in right now. Happy to have you with us on this Tuesday. All right, but something we didn't get into yesterday, and I did debate on what I was wearing. It was very hard, knowing that we're going to do a YouTube show, to not represent my number one team in the NFC, the Bears. Woo!
The Bears.
Let's go. The Chicago Bears. My goodness, based on everything that happened over the weekend in Chicago. Now, their game happened last week, Friday. That was cool. Like, they won 24-15. But the game that kind of shocked a lot of people, and I know it kind of hurt. Well, no, Michael Lasquero was not hurt about it because, as he told us, he rather the Rams lose
needs the loss.
Yeah, needs the loss before the playoffs, which I understand that take and that reasoning. But the Panthers coming out with a surprising win over the Los Angeles Rams, 31-28. I don't know. Are the Panthers good? Like, that's like the biggest question mark because they weren't. I mean, Bryce Young, he was starting to take a turn last season, so he started to look like he was finally
on an
fitting
upward
it.
trajectory, I do think.
But, like, you didn't really know what to expect. They didn't start off very great.
T-Mac, baby. Yeah. That's that T-Mac effect.
That's that Waimanalo effect that's making the Panthers
bring
good.
in a
There
little
you go.
sprinkle of Hawaii, and all of a sudden, who would have ever thought?
Let's not talk about the Commanders game.
That's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. They're trying to lose. This is a lost season. Ethical tanking because Jaden Daniels is out. You know, they're just. I don't know. It's been a rough year for the Commanders. The Dolphins have kind of turned it around, though.
See,
in a sense,
this season is wild. Like, you don't even know what. I mean, you're wearing your Jets t-shirt today.
I am. It was
the
one
Jets
of the rare weeks that I'm able to do
27-24 over the Falcons, a team that was your second team and the team that we thought could be good, not good.
Our second
I mean, they have one of the best running backs in the league and one of the best tight ends in the league. And yet they just cannot figure things out for the Atlanta Falcons. Again, when you watch them and when they have their good games, like, you don't look at them as a 4-8 team, but here we are. And the Jets getting that other win. And then, okay, we got to talk about last night because mainly,
man.
So no surprise in the final score with the Patriots 33-15 over the Giants. I know we casually joke like, oh, it would be great if the Giants did upset the Patriots.
It would have been awesome.
But, like, our sports brain did not believe that one bit. We got to talk about that kick. Or the
lack thereof.
The kick that is not actually a kick in the box or a miss kick. If you guys missed it, the New York Giants kicker essentially kicked the ground. So he did not kick the ball.
Break his ankle, dude.
Yeah, he did not kick the ball, and it does not go down in the box score as a missed kick or anything. But it's just pure embarrassment. I mean, I had secondhand embarrassment for that. You're a professional kicker. As a soccer player, as someone who has kicked a football and a field goal, not in NFL action, obviously, but when you're professional, I just do not know how that happens because it's very like you go through the motions and you essentially work on that motion and it's somewhat the same. And I don't know how you kick the ground. And it wasn't like he kicked the ground right in front of the nose of the football. It was like a good like 5-10 inches away from the football. So the timing was just, I got to go back and look at where his plant foot was, but it was just, but again, even if you got the football, it was like straight into the ground, which, I mean,
God,
it just
it
goes
was
well
so
for the Kansei Matsuzawa push to be drafted in the NFL, because it's just adding on how many teams just need new kickers in the NFL. Fortunately, the Chicago Bears aren't on the top of the list, but as we were chuckling about earlier, that I wouldn't put it past Ryan Poles to do it.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, he drafted a punter who is working out pretty good, but he's, if the team is going to finish pretty high and you don't need a lot, maybe you get a kicker.
The team I saw the fans most begging for Kansei in the little afterstorm of senior night with the lay, I think was Philadelphia. Philadelphia was the fans that were asking most. I've seen some Saints fans asking. I actually wouldn't mind him going to the Saints, not necessarily for them like, oh, they're super successful. Getting a chance to kick inside of a dome and like a climate-controlled environment for more than or for half the season, I just think would be good for his success rate in general, and that's more what I'm invested in.
I mean, that's
like
a good
he's
point.
good in general, but I like when it's easier for him.
Well, that's a good point too, because like divisionally, you don't have to really. Atlanta
you got
is a
Atlanta
dome, right?
too, yep.
Tampa Bay is Florida, so it's a bit warmer.
You feel pretty good
I
playing
mean, Carolina, I guess maybe, but it's not like going to
there. I was
Buffalo,
gonna say,
right,
definitely
or
not
New
the same.
York,
Or even Chicago.
Green Bay, Minnesota's now
Minnesota's
indoors.
inside,
So,
yeah.
but yeah,
Even Seattle's cold.
I like that. Or Atlanta.
Yeah, or Atlanta works too. Younghoe Koo. I guess, though he's with the Giants now, or where is he?
I don't know.
Because he's not with the Falcons. They stupidly cut him. Because I feel bad for kickers. What a weird sentence. Feel bad for kickers because it feels like you are a cult hero one day, and then you miss like 2 kicks in a single
that
game.
was Younghoe yesterday,
and
right?
then you just get. I have no idea. I'll be honest. Either way,
I'm pretty sure it was Younghoe. I apologize to the Giants fans. Clearly, I didn't watch the game, but
I don't really listen with the sound on all that much.
I'm pretty sure it was Younghoe that was the one that's why that tweet was out there, because it was Younghoe Koo that missed that kick. Or not even missed the kick, that did not kick the football.
He missed kicking at all, I guess. Dude, it was a rough.
Hey,
rough
Fox broadcaster, there's your Korean tell.
Jeez. Chill, my lord. What was it? So the entire
oh my gosh.
entire tweet thread was incredibly funny. I am very excited to see where Kansei ends up someday.
In New York, clearly.
No, I would pay money for him to not end up in New York. That is, let me rephrase. Buffalo would be fine for him. I would never wish upon. I love Kansei way too much to wish upon a fate where he's either a New York Jet or a New York Giant. I would never wish that upon him. He's worked way too hard for that.
I can't believe that was Younghoe. Oh.
Was it really?
Yes.
Now I gotta go look.
That's sad.
Oh no! I thought Younghoe was hurt.
No.
Oh no! It was Younghoe.
It was Younghoe.
Oh no!
This makes the tweet make more sense now, because that's all the stuff that happened.
I just assumed Younghoe was on his way out anyway.
And you assumed that Younghoe would not do that.
Oh, well,
basically.
yeah.
That's something that even maybe a rookie kicker does.
I'll be honest. I just kind of thought that was, you know how sometimes they sign like a 36-year-old substitute teacher off the street who like was just, he kicked in D3 college once, and they're like, hey, our kicker got hurt on Friday. We have a game Sunday. Is there any chance you'd come kick for us? I just assumed it was one of those situations. Once again, I did not listen to the game with the sound on.
Yeah,
I can't do it all the time.
The good thing for New York Giants fans and Jackson Dart, because clearly he was like the slow-mo cam that I saw make its way through social media after Younghoe flubbed. I'm like, can't say really missed. Flubbed the kick is like, he's just like,
how many different ways can we come up with?
Oh my gosh. It didn't really matter. I mean, they got blown out 33-15 by the Patriots, by the team that is just one of those complete teams.
No, but
the
the butt fumble also didn't matter in that game.
A team that wishes they were as good as the Chicago Bears, the number 1 seed over on the AFC side, the New England Patriots. But yeah, it was just such a weird, I mean, I feel bad for Las Vegas Raiders fans. The Raiders are just horrible. Like this.
I would feel bad. I do feel bad for some Raiders fans because I am friends with some Raiders fans. I am thankful for the Raiders because they, for whatever reason, took Ashton Jeanty when their offensive line is horrific. And that let Armand Membu drop to the New York Jets. And Membu has been unbelievably awesome this year for the New York Jets. So thank you, Las Vegas. I appreciate you immensely. Though I do understand if you would be upset with them because I do think that Ashton Jeanty would be a Chicago Bear right now.
I know.
If they had not taken him. And that's really fun to think about, too, because it's not that, like, Colston Loveland sucks or whatever.
No.
Or, like, he's fine. But I would argue, you have watched more Bears games than I have. Has he made such a big impact that if you traded him out for, like, a league average tight end or replacement level tight end and you had Ashton Jeanty, does that change the Bears offense, like, immensely for the worse? In your opinion?
I wouldn't say immensely. I think look. Well, in the beginning of the season, I would have been like Ashton Jeanty would have been so much better of a pick. But like now now that they're winning, I'm like, well, I don't really know anymore.
Well,
I don't really know what to think.
guess my point is like think about how good the running backs have been for you guys. I mean, Kyle Monunga has been awesome. Whatever. I guess maybe some people don't believe in Jeanty anymore for whatever reason.
Well, he's with the Raiders, so it's hard to like not believe in a player because they're with a bad
with a
team.
horrible offensive
But I do
line.
love my guy Monunga just because for all of my Filipinos and local people out there, it sounds like they're saying like Kalamungai, so I'm always like Monungai. He's my favorite. I remember I texted Michael. Obviously, I was like, Michael, do you think of Kalamungai every time? To which his reply is like, yes, of course. I always think of that. And so he has a special place in my heart now because he has a cool last name that makes it feel like he's Filipino.
He's a Rutgers guy, so I've been tracking him because he's from the Northeast.
No, but it was a very interesting weekend. I mean, Thursday you go back, a ton of Circa Survivor people got knocked out because all of the dogs won.
I see that there's
Thursday
3 left or something like that.
It's insane. I know all of the Grandissimo, so that was like the $100,000 buy-in for the Survivor. All of them got knocked out. So the remaining 6 are splitting like $8 million or something in the prize money.
What a brutal,
brutal
thing to split.
So their entire thing got knocked out. So then they all had to split whatever was remaining. Regular Circa Survivor, it's like ton of them got knocked out because on Thursday the Cowboys beat the Chiefs, the Packers beat the Lions, and then the Bengals beat the Ravens. Not only beat the Ravens, but like doubled up on the Ravens essentially.
Welcome back, Joe Burrow.
What is going? Yeah,
I mean your theory. You have had a long working theory that Joe Burrow is the Bengals. You know, like if he's playing, then the defense plays better. Which, in a weird way, it does kind of work. Like, the Bengals are better, obviously, offensively with Joe Burrow. They also seem better defensively with Joe Burrow. Also, as somebody who is still rooting for the Jets to get a good draft pick and maybe win a couple more games, I am all for the bad teams winning a couple extra games as well. So, Bengals, keep on winning. Fight for that last playoff spot. Go right ahead.
Yeah. There we go.
And 9-8.
Speaking of the playoff spot and how we were talking about the Raiders earlier, they are officially eliminated from playoff contention along with the Titans, the Cards, the Saints, and the Giants. I think the last time we talked about it was just the Giants that were eliminated, but now...
Are the Jets not eliminated?
Nope.
Oh,
technically not.
So you're saying we're
There's
in the
a chance.
hunt. We're winning out, folks.
What's it on the bubble? You're on the bubble.
We are in the hunt, folks. Come on. Put us on the graphic.
But yes, according to the official NFL playoff picture, the Jets are technically not eliminated yet. It's just the Raiders, the Titans on the AFC side, and the Cards and the Saints and Giants on the NFC side. So technically, and you're not even like the last place on the bubble team. That would be the Browns. So you are just ahead of the Browns.
And we got the tiebreaker over them.
Hey.
Sorry, Dylan, Shador,
now
and
there's still a long way to go to even make it in, but
this
technically
ends this week.
Not eliminated. That's all I'm saying.
That's so funny.
Yeah. All right, before we go to a break, taking a look at the futures, let's see. The Bears still ain't getting no love, man. The Lions are still ahead of the Bears in terms of the odds to win the Super Bowl. 22-1 are the Lions, and the Chicago Bears are just slightly behind at 30-1.
What
The
about
favorites so
Chiefs?
far at let's see. Chiefs are kind of moving on down. They're at 17-1, pretty low on this list.
They're probably not going to make the playoffs.
I know,
that's so
wild.
funny. Why
But then
they're
it would make
17-1 or 17-1?
And that's ahead of the Bears. The Rams are at the top at plus 450. Not number one in the NFC. Let's just say that. The Seahawks are plus 850. Pretty cool to see the Seahawks all the way up here. The Packers are at 9-1 along with the Eagles. The Bills are at 10-1. The Broncos are at 11-1 after that overtime 2-point conversion win over Marcus Mariota and the Washington Commanders over the weekend. Let's see. The Pats are at 11-1 as well. Colts are 15-1. Ravens are 17-1, just like the Chiefs. So if the playoffs were to start today on the AFC side, we've got Patriots at the 1, Broncos 2, Jags 3, Ravens 4.
As everyone
Chargers,
predicted.
Yeah, this is exactly how everyone thought it would be on the AFC side. Chargers 5, Colts 6, Bills 7, just making it in. On the NFC side, we've got the Bears at the 1, just like we all predicted.
I was going to say, preseason prediction.
Totally. The Rams at the 2, Eagles 3, Bucks 4, Seahawks 5, Packers 6, and the 49ers at the 7. The Lions just really on the bubble along with the Cowboys, and then on the AFC side, the Texans and the Steelers on the bubble ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, just like
Jets.
Just like we all predicted it would be at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I did some preseason predictions with some friends that we put into a Google Doc or Google Forms or whatever that we're not allowed to open until the end of the season. Terrified to look back at those because I remember some of them. It's not. It was. I'll tell you this. It was not what you just said, Ku'ule. Not even close.
Do you think? Is that prediction closer than our Paul's Parlor for UH football?
No, not even close. We
got to go back and look at that and see how off like all of our picks were.
Paul's Parlor was at least somewhat close for some of them.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get like one of the 4 divisions right at this point, it feels like, for the AFC. It's been a brutal year. What can you say?
All right, we definitely got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, on demand wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. A special Tuesday live stream, and normally we live stream every single Monday, but we're live streaming today, so you guys can either tune in now or tune in on demand to the live stream. Shout out to our very active chat right now that's going on between all of our regulars. And Justin Baptiste, a fellow media member, making his way into the chat. Mentioned earlier how he loves how I'm repping both Pac West schools today. Yes, I got to. And Chaminade, as everyone knows, is my school that I did go to as well. Very, very good school. HPU was actually... So it's kind of funny because HPU was at one point my dream school, just because they had really cool commercials back in the day.
It's actually so funny.
They had really good commercials, and hey, advertising works.
I was going to say, it shows like good advertising works.
So like it was this is when I used to surf all the time in high school. That's why, and they had a commercial where the girl was getting out of the water, and then like she like just like rinsed off at the beach, went to class, and then sat in the seat, and then had like the little dusting off the sand off her foot while she's in class. And I don't know, I just loved
commercial.
Everything about HPU. And then unfortunately, when I finally decided what I wanted to study, HPU did not offer that at the time. So you got to kind of make the decision to choose to go where they offer what you actually want to study. I think now they offer maybe an associate's in criminal justice, if I'm not mistaken. They offer a bunch of stuff, including being able to study in Las Vegas and everything that HPU has. But at the time, Chaminade was the only school in Hawaii that offered a bachelor's in forensics, because that's what I wanted to study. But then they also had criminal justice, which is what I ended up studying. So full circle moment. Got to rep both schools because we cover a lot of HPU play-by-play. But as we mentioned tonight, though, Paul will be taking his talents to television and will be right next to Kanoa to call the men's and women's game tonight between HPU and Chaminade. So you guys can tune in on Spectrum Sports or come and join us at the Shark Tank. Women's game at 5, men's game at 7. A lot of festivities going on as well outside of the Shark Tank. So it's going to be a really, really fun time. Again, we'll get more to the preview of that coming up a little later in the show. But right now, I did want to talk a little bit about the UH women's basketball team. Again, they closed out the American Savings Bank Rainbow Wahine Showdown over the weekend. Didn't get the results that they wanted. Most recently, they did lose 76-57 to a very, very good Santa Clara. Now, I know branding-wise, a lot of people weren't sure what to expect and didn't anticipate these teams to be as good as they were. If you listened to the show, you knew what to expect, because Paul pointed out that all these teams that were playing in the American Savings Bank Rainbow Wahine Showdown were very high-quality teams. But the Rainbow Wahine, again, falling on Friday to Vermont, 73-67, to Lindenwood on Saturday, 68-59, and then once again against Santa Clara, 76-57. Before I kind of give it to Paul for a lot of the key takeaways that he observed from those 3 games, and as the Rainbow Wahine look to go on the road and play at UC Davis and Cal State Fullerton for Bold Week, let's let you hear a little bit of the post game, and it just starts with Coach Beeman and her opening statement following Sunday's loss to Santa Clara.
Tough weekend, really good teams. We have a lot of areas that we need to improve on, and we will. You don't want to go 0-3, particularly at home. That's tough. These guys aren't happy about it. I thought there were some really good areas of growth, and I think there's some areas that we need to grow very, very quickly. And we're going to work really hard to grow those areas. Today, we ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. That team does what they do very, very well. I think 5th and 6th in the nation for attempts and makes. But they beat us in every single statistical category that matters. And it was very apparent with just their pace, their volume, how well they shoot the ball. Really proud of this team for how they fought all weekend long. We're still young, and we're going to be okay.
3 games in 3 days for the players. How are you guys feeling after this stretch? Obviously, kick up the level of competition, but also you guys have to play intense over 3 games. How are your bodies feeling?
I mean, yeah, definitely like a bit tired, but I mean, overall pretty good. But yeah, now we just focus on the next games ahead of us and just the areas of growth that we can make from this weekend.
Izzy, you're coming back from an injury. How are you feeling? You finally seem to start finding your rhythm today as well?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling pretty good, and I think this is what we needed to move on and be ready for conference.
Coach, seems the turnovers have ticked up a little bit going against better competition. What have you seen over these past 3 days that has kind of led to that? And how do you think that you guys can clean that up?
I think a little bit of it's pace. We played 3 teams that are very, very good. Either winning their conferences or winning multiple games in their conference. A little bit bigger bodies at times, although I do think we match up well with most of them. I think it's the pace. I think that they play at a level that we have to get to, and you don't know what you don't know. And Izzy, Nye, Amani are about the only 3 that really understand what great pace is, because they played enough college ball, they played postseason, and they have felt that pace. And the youngsters, even with as much international experience as they've had, it's different. And so when you're playing against teams that move the ball quickly, cut quickly, are physical within that, and they process really fast, you're always playing a little bit of catch up. And so I think that's just that we don't know what we don't know yet. I think, if in 20 games from now we're having the same conversation, we might have a problem. I don't think we will be. I think our pace will be much better. We've also had really good games where we don't turn the ball over. But I think this is, to Izzy's point, this is a really great tournament heading into conference.
Coach, you talked about not knowing what you don't know, right? And I think this 3-day tournament, you kind of mix and match the lineup a little bit, change a lot of the duties here and there. How comfortable are you with the rotations heading into this bold week? I know it's conference play, but then we get non-league after that and before the start of the year. So how come with the rotations and figuring stuff out?
Consistency is going to lead to a level of comfort for the coaches. And when we have inconsistent play, both on both sides of the ball, inconsistent talk, then there's going to be inconsistency with rotations. Because there's certain things that you will allow as a coach, there are certain things that you will not allow. And when we're not being consistent, following scouts, not sharing the ball, not doing some things, we have to make adjustments. And what our hope is that we get the execution to back the energy and the effort. I've never complained about energy and effort with this team. We talk about energy a little bit in our pregame stuff, and that's contagious. Effort, we've always had great effort, but the execution is inconsistent, and that has to change.
And that was Rainbow Wahine basketball head coach Laura Beeman in the postgame following that loss to Santa Clara on Sunday, again 76-57 to end the Rainbow Wahine showdown over the weekend, in which they were not able to win a game. And it was tough, right? Because all this team knew was winning. They had all of those wins. They had a big win against Portland, especially heading into the Rainbow Wahine's showdown. So it was almost nice to get punched in the mouth a little bit before you go up and play and open up conference play on the road. But just taking it back, Paul, because I know you were in attendance for all of those games and you really got to watch. If you can just elaborate and explain a little bit more about how Coach Beeman was talking about not liking the pace too much, wanting to pick up the pace, and just your overall observations from this young Rainbow Wahine squad in this past weekend's Rainbow Wahine showdown.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding like Michael Lasquero, I also agree that this was a somewhat needed loss where they or losses where they kind of had to go in and they learn about themselves, right? Because they did a great job over the first few games, whether it was a big win, whether it was eking out wins. They had an overtime victory. They had a tight victory against Portland and all of these different things. Well, now you see what great teams also look like elsewhere, right? Where these are teams who are selected towards the top of their conferences. They are actually 2 of the 3 were selected at the top of their conference, and the other one is still pretty darn good. The pace, that was something that I kind of picked up on too over the weekend. I just don't like how fast they play or how not fast they play, because that was actually something that they made a point to talk about during the preseason. I think you'll remember that as well, where they talked about how this offense, they want to play faster this year. They think they can play faster. And, they do sometimes, but I think that it's really inconsistent. And also, I think that sometimes the ball sticks. I think sometimes in transition, they dribble the ball up instead of pass the ball up. And you see in the half court when they're swinging the ball around the arc, or you reverse it, the ball sticks for half a second instead of being swung immediately. And that allows the defense to catch up. And with a young team, their confidence isn't quite there offensively, where they don't know that they can still take that three in rhythm on the left side or the right side, whatever, with the defender still closing out. They don't have the ability quite yet to attack because the ball's not getting there quick enough. They're not making good enough passes into the shooting pocket to make sure that their shooters can knock down shots, because it's not that this team is incapable of shooting from three. It's not that this team is incapable offensively. It's just they make things a little more difficult for themselves right now, and they did that against more veteran-laden teams as well. That's kind of what you'd hope for. You'd expect that as you go against teams who are going to flirt with, if not make, the NCAA tournament come March. That's the whole point of the non-conference schedule. These were great games to get in, especially right before Bold Week, where now you're going on the road, which is not easy for your first road trip of the season. Hey, first road trip of the season, go play 2 conference games, one of them being UC Davis, by the way.
I was going to say, the very first conference game that you play on the road is against UC Davis, who has just been consistently the thorn in the side of the Rainbow Wahine, whether it be in the regular season or definitely when you get to tournament time, Big West tournament time. They're always like that team. Fullerton, not so much. Again, we talked about once Lily came over, and then we've had Fullerton's number, but UC Davis to open up on the road, first game for this young team, first time playing college basketball for a lot of these players, including Bailey Flevel, who has looked really good. She had a really nice around the back, under move in transition.
Move.
Paul Breck taught her everything she knows, apparently. So.
I'll have to post the videos side by side so that everybody can believe it. Because I'm serious. What can I say? I'm an inspiration for the next generation.
I was like, okay, we see you, Paul. But I do want to kind of ask you a little bit about the turnovers. That was a big issue on Sunday's game. They were able to somewhat clean it up in the second half, ended up ending the game with 24 turnovers, which is still very, very bad, especially considering that Santa Clara only turned over the ball 6 times. So what was the issue? Is it just more of sloppy play, not being able to hit their passes, or did Santa Clara just have maybe high pressure, a really good defense, or a little bit of both? Is there, basically what I'm getting at is this something that is definitely fixable where they can start limiting these turnovers, because can't continue to do this in the Big West Conference, especially against a team like a UC Davis who can definitely convert on those turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. It's not that Santa Clara was playing this it wasn't Chaminade men's basketball's, full court pressure the entire time, trapping all over the place. It was good defense. It was a high enough pressure defense where if you're not strong enough with the ball, if you're trying to dribble through traffic, there will be hands in the cookie jar. It will poke it away. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before about the pace thing, the passing thing. You can make it a lot easier on yourself by fixing your passes, making it so that you're hitting other players in the chest or in the shooting pocket so that they're ready to go rip through, go by their defender. You don't have to dribble the ball up the court and have the chance of a help defender potentially poking the ball away. I think it's a lot of things like that where they are fixable. They're kind of self-inflicted errors. And some of them are also, these are young players. And how can I say this? Some of them do actually have grown woman strength at this point. You look like Kyra Webb.
Kyra Webb.
She looks like, I don't even know, like a junior. So I think that's fair in terms of just the overall strength in her frame. Not all of them are like that, though. And, sometimes you do see them get bumped off their path. You do see, this is a physical sport. This is one that they're playing very good opponents, and it's purposeful by the coaching staff where they're being taught against some physical opponents, against some bigger opponents, against some quality defensive teams, that you have to be strong with the basketball. You have to be quick in the way that you are processing. And, I mean, the only way that you get better at that is through experience. And they got a first-class experience this past weekend in it. And, I mean, at the end of the day, they've had games where they did take care of the ball well.
Yeah.
So it's not that they've shown that they can't do it at all. It's not that they're averaging 25 turnovers per game. It's the consistency portion of things. It's about growing up on the fly. It's about getting stronger with the ball. It's about taking care of it. It's about knowing time and score. It's about understanding and being on the same page when there are so many new faces on this year's team. So I would calm a little bit of the alarm that has come out about, because I do understand. I mean, it's 59 turnovers over the past 3 games.
Yeah.
It's not great. And they had 30 against St. Martin's, which also not great. That being said, this team will be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
They'll adjust. And I mean, we didn't even mention the fact that this is the first time for a lot of these players to do the whole 3 games in 4 days type of thing
Well,
as
that's
well.
another big thing.
Sometimes, like, you think, oh, it's so easy, and then you actually get into it, and then you don't really know how to manage your body accordingly yet. And so now this was another good experience for them as well.
I do think that's also part of what you saw on Sunday, why that was the biggest loss of the tournament for UH. I think you kind of saw him sputter out in the second half, because it was a great battle until just over midway through the third. Bailey had just made that great move. She made back-to-back layups, and then I think it was T-Bond made her maybe only layup of the game. Like, she made a shot and made it a 4-point game with just under 5 minutes to play. And right after T made that shot, Santa Clara comes down, knocks down a 3.
Oh.
And it just kind of unravels from there, where I think they hit 2 threes, makes it a double-digit game once again. And at that point, I don't want to say UH let go of the rope, because they did play hard for the rest of the game, but you could see the exhaustion starting to hit. It was Santa Clara getting a few more leak-outs, run-outs after a rebound, getting out in transition, getting easy baskets, the silly turnovers, because when you're tired, your brain doesn't work in the same exact way. So I think you kind of saw that over the fourth quarter, because this was I was 39-35 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It ended up being 76-57. That's not the defense that we know the Rainbow Wahine for. And while Santa Clara is very good, I want to give them all the flowers that they deserve. I do think you saw the fatigue start to kick in after 3 games in 3 days, and 3 high-intensity games in 3 days for a young team who's getting used to it.
Well, now this young team experiences their very first road trip of the season, as we've been talking about. And what a way to say, hey, welcome to college basketball, than your first road trip being a conference matchup. Again, a couple of them for Bold Week. They'll play UC Davis this Thursday, 4 o'clock p.m. Hawaii time, and then Saturday, Cal State Fullerton, 11 a.m. Hawaii time. You guys can watch both of those games on ESPN+. They come back home next week, Thursday. They'll play University of Hawaii Hilo, and then they go over to Makawao, Maui to play Liberty and Montana State. And then it's a Happy New Year, and Big West basketball gets underway with the Rainbow Wahine starting things off here at home for the new year against UC Riverside and UC San Diego. And then there we go. It's a straight shot into the full-blown Big West Conference season. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back to close out hour number 1 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel on a special YouTube live stream Tuesday. Normally, you guys know it's every single Monday, but why not? We thought we'd do a Tuesday live stream because we still had a lot to talk about to recap the weekend and all of the other things going on in sports. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll get back into some University of Hawaii football and let you hear a couple of Michael Lasquero's post-game interviews that he had with some seniors in Jackie Johnson III and Jalen Smith following Hawaii's senior night win over Wyoming on Saturday. And then we will get into more of the HPU versus Chaminade men's basketball and women's basketball preview that you guys can watch this evening, 5 and 7 p.m. on Spectrum Sports, or join us at the Shark Tank. But want to close out this hour talking some high school football. Again, a couple of state champs were crowned this past Friday. Shout out to Kamehameha Schools Maui going back-to-back after a convincing win over Waimea, 48-24. And then in Division I, Kailua, shout out OIA on top, able to win a exciting, now low scoring, but exciting final ending for that Division I state championship between Kailua and Kapa'a. Kailua coming out on top 13-9, but Isaiah Keanui Demelo, he threw a 23-yard touchdown pass to Taven Kahele with just under 4 minutes left to play in the game. And so to put them ahead of Kapa'a, and then Keoki Cipriano had an interception in the final minute, which lifted Kailua past the top-seeded Kapa'a on Friday night. So Kailua making history there and claiming a state football title. But Michael Lasquero and some of our other fellow media members were there covering the game last week Friday. So we wanted to let you guys hear from the Kailua head football coach and Haoli Wong when what he had to say following Kailua's really massive win over Kapa'a. And it just starts with Scoring Live's Kalani Takase.
What's this moment like for you for this program to do it the way you guys did it tonight?
Man, it's huge for us because, you know, we've been through so much at this program, and we know today's day and age, everybody's trying to get a kid to go somewhere. And these kids right here, they stayed here, and we went through some tough patches. Always in the playoffs, but we never reached the mountaintop. We never reached the peak, and they stayed here. And with all that, trying to get people to go places, you guys know how it is. They stayed here, man. These kids could easily have gone and went other places, but they believe, they trust the process, they stayed the course, and they're state champs.
You talk about to win, you got to have the opportunities, right? And it seems like when you guys got into the States, you guys had that mission mindset. I think you guys flew in and slept over the night before against Konawana. Probably had to fundraise you guys' own money to do that. I mean, with the community's help. And then yesterday, morning practice on Thanksgiving Day. So just kind of talking about the change from last offseason, to this offseason.
I mean, that was everything, Mike. You hit it on the nail. I mean, we went last year first thing in the morning, and it was bad. I mean, kids were, I swear they were sleeping during some plays, and then they were alive for some plays. But it was big. The community came together. I mean, they said, hey, whatever we need to do to get there and win and give ourselves an opportunity to win a championship, they did. Everybody pulled together. We left the day before. My team moms, my staff, the support staff, the school, I mean, faculty, administration, everybody. They just want these boys to be successful. I mean, and it goes to them too. Faculty, staff, administration, everybody. They all buy in to the bleed blue mentality that we have out there, and that's what it is. I mean, everybody wants to give these boys an opportunity. That's what they did, and look, they came away with it for them.
And then your quarterback Isaiah, he said one of the difference you guys did in this offseason was attention to detail. So can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know what I mean? Attention to detail is everything, because sometimes you get lost in the process, right? I mean, if people are not locking in, you've seen it. I mean, we had guys open. We had an interception. We had drop passes. But it's execution. Paying attention to the detail. Hands, fingertips up. Look the ball in. And sometimes we dropped it during the game. But if we had caught those balls, just like when we played IL, same way, right? There was a dogfight all the way to the end. but that's what happens when you play good teams. You know what I mean? I mean, the state of Hawaii. I mean, I think we compete with a lot of people.
Prior to the last play, they called timeout, right before they threw. What was the discussion in the huddle for you guys?
So when they called timeout, we came together and you know we talked about the jump pass, and that's what they did. We knew that if it came down to a play or maybe a 2-point conversion, that we would converge a lot on the run, and which we did, the guys that did, but we told the backers stay back because potential for a jump pass. And you know, Oki, he listened, paid attention to detail, what we talked about, stayed back, come away with the pick, sealed the game, and we're state champs.
Again, shout out to Kailua Surf Riders. That was their head coach, Hau'oli Wong, following their massive win over Kapa'a 13-9 to win a state championship in football. Again, Division I state champs. And those that don't know by now, Coach Wong is also a Kailua alum. So it kind of is similar to when we talk about UH football, right? If there's anyone that can tell and encourage some of these guys to stay home and stay in Kailua, not try to go and get recruited elsewhere or, you know, go private school and that, it would be Coach Wong, because he is, rooted, not recruited there in Kailua. So congratulations to the Surf Riders. I mean, Isaiah Keanui DeMello, like, I don't know how many.
That's always my dog.
I was going to say, I don't know how many times that we've said his name on our airwaves here when we've covered Kailua games and for our OIA play-by-play coverage of football. It's like his name is like always, he always does massive things, and their quarterback in Keanui DeMello.
I'll always remember him because he was in the highlight that was used by either him or Isaiah Caillou for on the online thing. I don't know. It was fun. So I was like, yeah, that's my dog. I hope he has a great career. I hope some college gives him a shot. And I don't know. I'm pumped. I am very, very pumped for Kailua. It's cool when you make history. It's cool when you're the first in school history. And it was a tough year in D1. There were a lot of good teams. Like, you could have told me probably 5 different teams could have come out with a state champ. 4 or 5 different teams could have come out with the state championship in D1 this year, and I probably would be like, yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
That might actually happen. But, I mean, for it to end like that in dramatic fashion.
Oh, my God. What
once
a play.
Again, go-ahead touchdown. And like Coach Wong said, that Keoki Cipriano listened. That's the main thing, kids. Listen to your coach. Listened, sat back, and was able to secure that INT to close out that game and secure the win for Kailua. Now, this Friday is going to get exciting as well. Once again, we will crown a new Open Division state football champion this Friday, which is wild to think. You got 2 schools never won it in the Open Division before. You have Campbell that has never won it in the highest division at the time, and Kamehameha Kapalama this Friday at Ching, and that is going to be wild. 7 o'clock p.m. You guys can watch it on Spectrum OC16. Now, if you guys are going to the game and you don't usually go to UH games, it will be the same with the clear bag policy, all of that stuff. So make sure you tell your friends. No tailgating in the Zone 20 parking lot as well. I just have to say that. So no tailgating. It is against the rules. I know it's going to be
disclaimer.
I know it's going to be very difficult for people to hold back and not tailgate in the Zone 20 parking lot, but we're telling you now, you cannot tailgate there. Clear bag policy. Buy your tickets ahead of time at GoFan. And yeah, we will hope to see you guys out there. Kamehameha Kapalama versus Campbell for the Open Division State Championship. We'll have more game preview. Yeah, OIA. Let's go.
Kyle.
It's us versus Kyle.
Sorry, Kyle.
We got the HSRN battles here with our play-by-play announcers. No, but we'll talk more about the preview of that game and stuff as the week goes along. But we got to take a break. We'll be back for hour number 2 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm Ku'ulei Agbayani, right alongside Paul Brecht, rocking it out here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel, a special YouTube Tuesday that we got going on here because there's a lot to talk about, and we just added more to talk about. Breaking news. Do we have a breaking news sounder? I think this deserves a breaking news sounder.
I think
yes, no,
we
maybe
have
so.
something.
Okay.
Let me see. Wait. We have this.
Okay, that's good.
I want to update this.
Yeah.
I want something better.
This also doesn't really match what we're about to say.
No.
But anyways, breaking news that
realistically, this does.
Oh, yeah.
Low-key.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. So, just coming out now this morning, the Mountain West for football announces 2025 all-conference teams and individual honors. And no surprise that your University of Hawaii football players have been recognized. Probably the least of a shocker are a couple of the annual awards, with Special Teams Player of the Year in the Mountain West going to senior kicker Kansei Matsuzawa.
Woo! Yeah, Kansei! Woo! The Tokyo Toe!
Go to tokyotoe.com for your officially licensed merch and Kansei Matsuzawa approved apparel. Again, tokyotoe.com.
Else, but
Who
the
else?
Tokyo Toe, the Special Teams Player of the Year, man. I know, it was kind of a layup. It's just nice when it's official.
Of course.
Also, first team all Mountain West.
Yes.
Obviously, but that was also official for him.
Yes, so Special Teams Player of the Year, Kansei Matsuzawa, again, tying the FBS record.
Second in program history.
Woohoo! Let's go. And another one that is not really a surprise. I think we actually did mention it yesterday as well, because he had just earned Freshman of the Week for the Mountain West, but Freshman of the Year going to quarterback Micah Alihado, Hawaii's first Mountain West Freshman of the Year. Woo!
Woo! Let's go,
Let's
Micah!
go!
Yeah! Both
All
of these
right.
were very expected. Very expected maybe is a stretch.
Yeah.
Pretty expected. I just think that they were far and away the best players in those respective categories this year. I wrote an article about it actually a couple of weeks ago talking about how the only one that was up in the air was Offensive Player of the Year. And, well, guess what? The guy that we predicted would win that one did end up winning that one. So, nonetheless, very, very happy. Like I said in that article, it was going to be a historic awards season no matter what, because Hawaii very much so just underrepresented in the end of year awards since joining the Mountain West. So to get two of the, five? I think it's five, because the Coach of the Year, too, I'm adding in there. Not the four players. Two of the four players. That's awesome. I mean, it is a truly unprecedented thing. Awesome. Congratulations. Could not be a bigger congratulations to the University of Hawaii football program and Micah Alihado and Kansei Matsuzawa.
Woo-hoo! So again, Micah Alihado, Freshman of the Year for the Mountain West. Kansei Matsuzawa, Special Teams Player of the Year for the Mountain West. Before we get into the first and second team honors, Offensive Player of the Year, like Paul mentioned, and we kind of know what we're talking about here, where Offensive Player of the Year going to quarterback for UNLV, Anthony Calandria, is someone that prior to that UNLV game, we were like, wow, Micah and Calandria, it could be a toss-up, but clearly, that game was really the deciding factor because Calandria showed up and showed out, and our offense was kind of stale and stagnant in that game. But nonetheless, at least it stays within the family in terms of the future Mountain West teams again. And then even on the other side of things, actually, it's pretty much almost all of the awards except
almost
one.
a clean sweep, but you can almost make the case that it is because you're going to explain it right now.
Yes, because Defensive Player of the Year is actually not one but two. So we got Co-Defensive Player of the Year, one of them being from New Mexico. Linebacker Jackson Eck is one of the Defensive Players of the Year.
Wonder if he has any relation.
Similar to like Hawaii, though, becomes the first New Mexico player to be named Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. Shout out to the Lobos. Sorry, I'm just like chuckling because we were talking about the Bears and the Lobos. Brian Urlacher was the Player of the Year in 1999 before the award was separated into offense and defense. So shout out to former Chicago Bear Brian Urlacher, and a significant reason why I am a massive Chicago Bears fan, and he continues to be my favorite player. Caleb Williams starting to sneak up there though, but Brian Urlacher.
As you win more, it's funny how you
Brian
go up
Urlacher,
the list.
My favorite Chicago Bears player. So shout out to Jackson Eck out of New Mexico. And we mentioned it was a co-defensive player of the year award. And another one that is no surprise here, someone that Hawaii fans did not get to see play, unfortunately, fortunately. But the other defensive player of the year going to a senior DB out of San Diego State, Chris Johnson. Again, you'll likely see him in the NFL. So just kind of remember the name. But he is
He'll be picked in the first 2 days of the NFL draft this year, by the way.
Sixth San Diego State player to earn Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year honors, and first since Cameron Thomas in 2021. But huge shout out and congratulations to our guys. Once again, Kansei Matsuzawa, kicker out of Hawaii, the Special Teams Player of the Year, and Micah Alihado, our quarterback, Freshman of the Year for the Mountain West, Hawaii's first Mountain West Freshman of the Year. And got to give a shout out to this guy. If there is anyone else that I would have been okay winning Coach of the Year over our head coach, Timmy
Chang. This guy deserves it.
This guy, head coach of New Mexico, Jason Eck. Excuse me, I added a T there. First, I was just excited to give him a shout out. Jason Eck earning Coach of the Year for the Mountain West after completely turning around that New Mexico program in his first year at the helm. So much deserved. Again, if there was going to be any other coach over our Timmy Chang, I cannot argue this one bit. Jason Eck deserves every bit of Coach of the Year this year, and there's a reason why Paul and I kept saying, I'm glad Hawaii doesn't play New Mexico down this stretch.
Yeah. By the way, not to pat myself on the back, but good job me. I went pretty much 5 for 5 on my predictions. I guess I didn't have Jackson Eck in there as a co-defensive player of the year, but I said Chris Johnson would be the defensive player of the year. I said Anthony Calandria probably be the offensive player of the year. And then I already went through the other ones. Yeah. So I don't know, not to pat myself on the back, but every once in a while I do have an idea of what I'm talking about. But like you said, Jason Eck, a phenomenal year for New Mexico, where led them to bowl eligibility for the first time since 2016. So the last time they were bowl eligible, I was in high school. I have now moved 5,000 miles away. So things are a little bit different now since 2016. A really great year for the Lobos. And like you said to begin this whole thing, Koo, I'm just happy that most of these awards are staying in-house.
Yeah.
They went to programs who didn't jump ship, that didn't go to the Pac WAC 12.
Yep.
And, it's keeping a lot of talent here. So very, very fun, very exciting to see. And the fun doesn't stop there either, because those are just the individual awards. That doesn't even get into the all-conference teams, Koo.
I think one more thing about New Mexico, though. It's not in here for under his Coach of the Year bullet points, but I think I read somewhere that should they win their bowl game and get them to 10 wins, it would be the first time since the 80s or something crazy
I would believe it.
that New Mexico has 10 wins on the season. So that will be a feat. And again, the official bowl game matchups will be announced after this weekend, after all of the conference championship games, and we've been speculating, Hawaii Bowl, but that'll be pretty massive. And shout out to the Lobos, as we keep saying, because all of these, most of the awards are going to those schools that are staying in-house, that are in the Mountain West and forever going to be in the Mountain West. But yes, to add on to what Paul said, I don't think I ever threw it out in the universe about Defensive Player of the Year, but the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, we kind of know what we're talking about, Paul. Let's go.
I did throw it out there just more because I knew the guy was going to be an NFL draft pick. So I was like, pretty sure he's going to be the Defensive Player of the Year. And then I did see Jackson Eck did have an awesome year. So very deserved co-players of the year. But yeah, nonetheless, like I said, that's not even the end of the celebration. That's just the start, and two really, really big ones, by the way.
Jackson Eck, future Chicago Bear, following the footsteps of Brian Urlacher.
There
you
are worse
go.
things.
But yes, I guess we beat the Paul Parler's prediction. Going over to the Mountain West football first team, Hawaii getting 2 players on the offensive first team, one being, no surprise here, wide receiver Jackson Harris landing on first team, and another, no surprise here, Kante Matsuzawa. I mean, if you're going to be the special teams player of the year, I'm pretty sure you're going to land on the first team. And then, of course, another player of the year, and Anthony Calandria there for UNLV on the first team. But Hawaii, 2 players on the offensive side of the football, and on the defensive side of the football, someone that we'll hear a little later in this hour, Jackie Johnson, the third defensive lineman out of the University of Hawaii, making the first team for defense, the only player from Hawaii to make it on the first team for defense. So let's go. We got 3 players on the Mountain West first team here.
We, the house, vastly undershot this one. So if you took the over on that, congratulations to you. I have gone back into Paul's Parlor to read the overall prompt. Total of all Mountain West first or second team selections for UH in 2025. The over-under was 1.5. We got that in just first teamers. There is more representation on the second team for Hawaii. So, yes, more applause. Congratulations for what was a great, great year for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
All right, going over to the second team here. Another one, no surprise, he was on the preseason All Mountain West. Let's see, Pafele Ashlock, a receiver for the University of Hawaii, lands on the offensive side for the second team All Mountain West, along with Cam Barfield as the kick returner. So not on the running back position, but as a kick returner. Cam Barfield there on the second team, a guy that you were really high on in the beginning of the season. He did break out this season. Definitely looked good on that kick return. And of course, he did also look good there for when we needed to get him the ball in that running back position. On the defense, no surprise here once again, Dijon Benton for Hawaii, defensive lineman that he was amazing for the Rainbow Warriors. Lands himself the only Hawaii player to land on the defensive side for All Mountain West second team. So shout out to those guys as well. Let's go with the honorable mention out of Hawaii, Micah Alihado, Peter Manuma, Jemai Otis, Elijah Palmer, and Zen Sotelo getting honorable mention for All Mountain West honors. Man.
What a time. That's just... Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to the coaching staff. Congratulations to the program in general, just for the massive leap year over year, because, I mean, there's a reason that I did set the line at 1.5, right? Like, we joke about it now, but I was going to be really excited if you got 2 players on there at the start of the season, because I think there is a lot of talent in the Mountain West. It's not a thing that's like, oh, Hawaii doesn't have talent. It's just that there's a lot of competition for these spots, as, by the way, demonstrated by the fact that Micah Alihado, the season that he had, wasn't good enough to make first or second team All Mountain West, only an honorable mention. You know, it truly, truly speaks to how good the conference is to have this many players. I mean, what is it? 11 in total, technically, because you had 3 on first team, 3 on second team, and 5 honorable mentions. So 11 total players getting some sort of all-conference recognition. That is, I mean, truly, truly incredible. A great year, very well-deserved. Very fun to open hour number 2 with as well. You know, Positive Paul loves to celebrate, especially about our Rainbow Warriors.
And as we mentioned, now we got to go to break. But as we mentioned earlier, one of those players that were recognized in Jackie Johnson III, Michael Lasquero, had a chance to catch up with him following that game against Wyoming on Saturday. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll let you guys hear from Jackie Johnson and Jalen Smith on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel on a special YouTube Tuesday. And what a great day that we get to stream, because I knew that it was coming out, but then I forgot, and it wasn't planned around this, with the All Mountain West Honors coming out. Again, Hawaii getting 11 players in total that were recognized for the postseason honors. One of them landing on the defensive first team, Jackie Johnson, the third defensive lineman for the University of Hawaii. Our Michael Lasquero was able to catch up with him following that massive senior night win over Wyoming, and here is their chat.
All right, Jackie, you've come a long way, from St. Francis to Roosevelt to, I think, NAA, Northern, yeah. So, but, what does it feel right now?
Man, it feels good. It feels like, it's just great to end it on a high note. And I'm just proud of my boys. I'm just extremely grateful about this whole experience. I got a good group of dogs, man. I can say just call my brothers, man. I just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to play with any other team. You know what I mean? I never had a senior season in high school. I never had graduation. I never walked. It was COVID time.
Yeah. So just to have this moment, it's kind of almost like 8-10 years in the making, just to get the lays on you, man. Yeah. So what does that mean, just to show the hard work and the journey you've been through?
Yeah, for sure. It's just like you never like stop to think. Yeah, we just caught up in the work and the day-to-day and maximizing each day that you just don't ever get to look back and think and reflect. But just days like this, I can look back on everything and just be proud of my career and proud of all the adversity I had to come through to get here, get to this moment. I just feel it's all God's calling, God's timing, and I'm just happy and blessed.
Yeah, you talk about the hard work, right? I mean, past offseason, you got a scholarship, and then, you didn't slack, right? You kept, you were pretty much top of the sack leaderboard in the Team Mountain West.
Yes, sir.
What makes you so successful, rushing the quarterback?
Yeah, I attribute to Coach Poole a lot of and the defense we play, the way we play. I just attribute it to doing my job, doing my 111 every single play, having good eyes and just good reactions, and being able to play fast.
And then you guys get to go to a bowl game, first under Coach Timmy. You got to be part of the turnaround. What does that mean to you to kind of like be the start of something special?
Man, it just feels good. It just feels great. I'm just happy where my feet are. I'm just happy to be a part of this team, playing for Coach Timmy, playing for Coach Poole, playing for Coach Thurm. I wouldn't have traded for anything else.
And that was the senior defensive lineman and All Mountain West first teamer, Jackie Johnson III, with our Michael Lasquero following that senior night game against Wyoming. And perfect timing. I was looking at my Twitter, and Jackie Johnson, shout out to you. He retweeted my tweet I had posted a while back of the new GIF Unlocked with Coach Pu'u and doing that against San Diego State. So literally 15 minutes ago, I'm like, yeah, shout out Jackie Johnson. All right.
So funny.
Michael also had a chance to catch up with another senior, a senior linebacker, Jalen Smith, who had, if you guys remember, he didn't just get that sack, but that spear type of tackle that everybody was like, ooh. Even at the banquet on Sunday, when they showed the highlight of that, everyone's like, yeah. So Jalen Smith, here is Jalen Smith with our Michael Lasquero following that senior night game.
Jalen, congrats, senior night win. You had a pretty awesome sack too as well. Kind of talk about this moment, what it means to you.
Man, it's still a lot for me to take in, Everybody's kind of been asking me, and I told them I'm not going to know until the clock is 0. But it's definitely a lot, but I don't regret nothing. I definitely loved my time here, and I wouldn't change nothing I did to go about it.
Yeah, talk about that sack, because that kind of was the highlight of the night for you. You definitely went getting the win, but was that a film room sack? Because, I thought you had man coverage on the tight end, and then you went. Talk about that play.
It was really zone coverage. I had a strong hook, and we was really trained if they run dash like that, trigger, especially with the backers. Coach CB, you know how he is. He's kind of an aggressive guy, and I didn't hesitate. I saw it and I went, and it paid off.
You've been on this team about 3-4 years now. and usually senior night, there's usually the last game of the year, but you got one more. What does it mean for you to just kind of see the turnaround with this team and this program?
It's honestly just inspiring, man. You see the new guys who come in and they step up to be leaders. You got guys like EP, Jamai, Micah, and they come in and they add on to the culture. They buy in, and not only do they buy in, they help increase it. So that was helpful for especially the seniors like me and the rest of these guys out here. It's just going to keep going. It's going to keep getting better and better and better. And, right now we're talking about championships as a standard. And with the group of guys they got right now, that's how it's going to be.
One last question, as you wrap up your playing career here at the University of Hawaii and Hawaii and the state in general, what are you taking from your experience here in the 50th state for the future?
Oh, man, it's everything, man. The culture out here is beautiful. I've always wanted to visit Hawaii. Like, when I was younger, I'd always say how I wanted to visit Hawaii. And being out here these past 4 years, man, it's unexplainable. And like I said, there's nothing I would change about it. And it's just been a blessing.
And that was our Michael Lasquero with UH football senior linebacker Jalen Smith following the senior night game against Wyoming on Saturday. And before that, you heard from senior defensive lineman and now recently announced All Mountain West first teamer Jackie Johnson III. So shout out to those two gentlemen for celebrating their senior career or their careers here at the University of Hawaii. And I want to elaborate reiterate and double down on what Jalen Smith said, that just, coming out here and being able to take away a lot from the University of Hawaii. Kind of the narrative we've been pushing here, Paul, on this show is that this is a chance for young people. If they come out here to play for the University of Hawaii, it's an experience that they can have that it will be very hard to attain in your adult life, considering how expensive it is to live out here, how expensive it is to travel out here. But not only that, the culture here that we always talk about is just so different. I mean, Kansei Matsuzawa is very adamant about there and how he wants to make Hawaii his home. And that's how a lot of players are. I mean, you have like Jakob Tello on the men's volleyball side that's like, Hawaii's my home now. I can't imagine you get that same type of feeling at any other state or program where a lot of these players not only like the culture, but even the culture within the coaching staff. I talked about this yesterday that, Timmy Chang and his coaching staff are just truly genuine human beings that will breathe what they're preaching. Like, they are just not saying these things. They're not going to be a Lane Kiffin type of person where you got to question their character half the time. Like, they are true leaders of these young men. So all of you guys out there, come on over and play for the University of Hawaii, because it's just a testament to all the things that some of these young people are saying about the culture and the coaching staff here. It's not like it's nothing new to us here that's born and raised here, and Paul, that you've been here for a few years. Like, part of the reason why you've been out here for a few years is because you love the culture so much and learning about it. And I think that's the stuff that we got to really get out there. And yeah, maybe they will never be able to pay the top dollar to some of these and compete with these bigger schools, even top schools in the G5. But there are a lot of things that money can't buy that you can experience when you come to the University of Hawaii. And just hearing a lot of these players, especially someone like Jalen Smith and Kansei Matsuzawa, who aren't from here, and they just have nothing but great things to say about their experience playing at the University of Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this both on the show before and off air, where I do think there needs to be more adults in these young people's lives talking to them about their decisions, right? Because I do think sometimes, and we're all guilty of this, where the flashiest thing catches our eye, the biggest name catches our eye, the prettiest logo catches our eye. And then you go and you transfer to a program that things aren't really great for you at, where they might have great resources, you might make a decent bit of money, but then you don't play. And if you don't play, then all of a sudden that money dries up the next year. And that's not good. And in this sport, it really, really is not something you want to take a full year off. No. Because people are coming for your job more than ever. So, I don't know. I look at it in a way where I'm not asking people to not get paid. I understand. It's the name of the game now, and there's compensation and whatever. But to echo your point, there are more variables than money that people should be considering. And I do think a lot of athletes do still consider that. And I think you've seen Hawaii actually do a pretty great job, not just in football, but across all sports, bringing in athletes who kind of fit that mold. But at the end of the day, I'm asking these young men and young women to consider how much an opportunity to play means to them, how much an opportunity to produce means to them, how much an opportunity to have year over year, have a chance to be an all Mountain West selection and up your stock someday in that category or things along that nature. I don't know how you can look at Hawaii, and if you have an opportunity to get more playing time, if you have an opportunity to come be part of this culture, if you have an opportunity to just come grow as a human being here, because that seems, if you listen to those interviews, you hear them talk, yes, sure, about football. They talk a lot about what it meant to them to grow as a person around these other players, these other people for the past 2, 3, 4 years. You know, it's a special experience. So I do hope as we get ready to go into the transfer portal season that more and more parents, adults, mentors, whatever, are getting into kids' ears rather than the wannabe agents, rather than the people who are out for their own interests. I hope there are people who are truly looking out for these young people. And this, by the way, this isn't just a Hawaii thing. Yeah. I do hope people have that conversation where it's like, maybe Hawaii isn't the best fit as well.
Yeah,
just
that's fine.
Give it an opportunity. Make sure it's in the conversation. And also, if you have something good here, I will recommend this. Don't throw it away for something that's not a sure thing. Because we have seen previously players transfer thinking that all of a sudden their stock is going to skyrocket, and they end up not getting the role that they wanted. Whether it's a special teamer, whether it's an offensive player, whether it's a defensive player, it's happened in all three phases where former Hawaii guys have picked wrong. Don't be the guy that picked wrong and threw away a great chance for you to be great. That would be my best advice to these young men as they get ready for what I'm sure is going to be another crazy transfer portal season.
We made the joke on our table. I don't know if joke's the right word, but we're sitting here at the Alec Waterhouse Memorial Awards Banquet for UH football, and probably some of these guys that are in here right now are probably getting hit up for
100%.
Opportunities, right? But
I was going to say, there's no joke there.
To elaborate on a point that I was making when we ran out of time yesterday is that there is, Paul and I has made the conscious decision. If you guys text in about it, like, fine, that's fine, but
different
we will
conversation
not.
then.
We will not talk about if or buts or about any of these players potentially leaving. If it happens, we'll talk about it if that is something that comes up. But I'm just tired of speculating, like, is Michael Alihado staying or going, or Paveli Ashlock? Like, I don't really care to entertain that, because I'd rather see the process out. If it happens, it happens, and then there'll be details of why, and maybe we can talk about why it maybe made sense or whatever. But this will be the last time that we're even kind of mentioning and speculating like certain players could potentially go elsewhere, because I'm just exhausted and tired of just it's taking up too much of my mental bandwidth, and I hope people can just kind of shush a little bit about just talking about the only speculation about players leaving.
Let the chips fall where they may, and then we'll pick up the pieces from there.
And then if it happens, whatever. But other than that, like, I'm just not even going to entertain talking about that. But again, if you guys text in, we're pretty open about answering your texts and seeing your comments and yada, yada, yada.
Totally different conversation.
In terms of our show here, though, we're never going to really bring it up because, like I said, if it happens, like you said, just there, chips fall, we'll talk about it then. But other than that, I think there's no point in speculating or being concerned about so-and-so leaving. I mean, there's always concern, don't get me wrong, but we'll talk about it if it ever comes up, because then we just wasted our breath if it doesn't happen. Like, it's just, we will push the narrative about players coming in, and this is where you want to be to play for the University of Hawaii, not just football, but all of the other sports as well. So come on, come to the land of opportunity, come to the land of beauty and culture, have the best senior night that you could ever have in the country, and have all of this support wherever you are and wherever your life takes you as well. All right, that's enough of our soapbox, and we'll get down from the soapbox now. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll continue some college football talk on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all, the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760. HawaiiSportsRadio.com and streaming live on our YouTube channel, a special Tuesday live stream. So if you missed any of it, you can go and watch it on demand or listen on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Or I want to stick to the college football conversation because there is a ton of, now, like I said, I won't really talk about players going anywhere, but we'll stick to the adults. And there has been a lot of movement in college football in terms of the coaching carousel. Probably the one that makes the biggest headlines is Lane Kiffin going from Ole Miss, where he's been since 2020, over to LSU, and everything that has been the fallout with Lane Kiffin essentially poised to ruin college football even more, as if it isn't ruined already. But I don't know. He's a tool, so whatever. He's at LSU, the school that most recently hired Brian Kelly, where he belongs. So whatever. I did want to point out a couple of things or moves that have intrigued me, or storylines that have intrigued me in the college football coaching carousel. Now, one school that will be a former Mountain West school in Colorado State. They hired Jim Mora over from UConn. So he will come over to the Rams as they make that transition over to the Pac-WAC 12, 10, 11, 6, 7, 8, 9.
6, 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. That's why 6 was afraid of 7, like, ha, ha, ha. So Colorado State hiring Jim Mora over from UConn. This was an interesting one with Michigan State with Pat Fitzgerald. Well, it's more interesting because when I looked it up, and he was the former head coach at Northwestern for a long time from 2006 to 2022. So he finally gets to coach again because they reached a settlement with Northwestern in August, 2 years after he sued the university amid a team hazing incident or scandal. That is why he got fired, yada, yada, yada. So Pat Fitzgerald returns because he was like volunteer coaching or something before getting this job now at Michigan State. Again, former Northwestern coach for a while. UCLA, I think Colin mentioned this in our YouTube chat yesterday, hiring Bob Chesney away from James Madison. First P4 job in his career. And I wanted to talk about this, Coach, because I think that's pretty impressive. And I like how UCLA is looking elsewhere, right? Not just doing the usual recycle of coaches and everything like that, because I like to see some of these up-and-coming coaches really work there. This guy has reached the conference championship game at each of his previous stops, all the way from Division III. So he was coaching at Division III, moved up to Division II, moved up to Division I FCS at Holy Cross, and then now at James Madison, Division I FBS. And now for his career, he boasts a 131-51 record with 4 conference championships and numerous Coach of the Year awards. So UCLA, I mean, I feel like and he's doing great things there at James Madison. They thought they were going to take a setback after Kurt Cignetti got hired by Indiana, which Indiana seems to be doing quite well with Kurt Cignetti. But he kept the program afloat, and now they are at an 11-1 record. And placing them in the hunt for a group of 5 spot in the college football playoff. So, Bob Chesney, why are you making that face, Paul?
Because I think he hired away my Ithaca College former defensive coordinator while I was there, who is now the Ithaca College head coach. I'm like, because he was hired at Holy Cross. So when you said that name, I was like, well, I wonder when.
Wait a minute.
And now that I have seen the time in which the time span was 18 to 23, I feel pretty good about taking the guess that he might have been the guy who hired him away. So, at the risk of sounding a little bit biased, the guy's pretty smart. So yeah, great hire by UCLA. What can I say? You know, guy knows good ball coaches, clearly.
And clearly, again, successful coach at every single level. So I think that's really exciting for UCLA fans. And like I said, I like seeing schools, especially P4 schools, kind of taking a risk and going outside of just your usual, let's just rotate the same coaches.
And bunch of retreads.
And, yeah, it's like, all right, we'll just do that. Kind of like what
Can't
LSU
say that
did
wrong,
right
by
there.
the way. That's a very dangerous phrase. Anyway, yeah, can't do what LSU. Well, you can, but you'll be hated. But everybody hates LSU anyway,
Yeah,
so it's kind of like
whatever.
It's a match made in heaven, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lane does not care. I promise you can tell it. Like, all these people are like, "Oh, you're such a terrible person."
He also doesn't care about the $91 million, apparently.
That's a lie. One thing Lane is also good at. Lane's good at many things. Lying is amongst them. That is a lie. I promise you he knew how much it was. He's not just taking the LSU job and leaving Ole Miss because he had an epiphany from God.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did do a lot of prayer, by the way. I'm sure, I don't want to discount any of that, but they are a match made in heaven because LSU does not care. They just want to win football games. And Lane Kiffin, he enjoys your hatred. He just kind of wants to be in the spotlight, it feels like. So for that one, they couldn't be a better couple. You know what I mean?
They definitely match accordingly. But talking about going outside of the box, want to give a shout out to Stanford and Andrew Luck there, hiring Tavita Pritchard. He is was now, I was going to say current, but his last day was this past Sunday, actually, was the quarterbacks coach for the Washington Commanders, but was also a Stanford alum. He was the quarterback at Stanford as well, but coached his final game for the Commanders this past Sunday, a game in which the Commanders almost won and beat the Broncos. But again, coming over to Stanford, which a significant highlight in there. Now he is the 4th coach of Polynesian descent now in Division I FBS football, again to go along with Kalani Sitake over at BYU, potentially at Penn State. That's kind of the rumor mill. Obviously Timmy Chang as well, and then Ken Neomatalolo. So now you got another Polynesian head football coach going over to Stanford. So I thought that was pretty cool too. I'm sure Stanford fans are like, what's going on? But hey, if Andrew Luck's the GM, you're going to have some trust in there. But I thought that was really cool to once again go outside of the box. And of course, we are a little biased here. And it's like, hey, we're adding another Polynesian coach here to the mix in Division I college football. So I thought that was really, really cool. And I wanted to make sure we mentioned Stanford because now I'm going to cheer for them a little bit.
I'll cheer for them when we're not playing them.
Yeah, of course.
As long as they don't take our recruits, by the way. Stay away.
Yeah.
Cal, too, by the way. Just kidding. Anyway, well, not kidding, but just kidding. That's totally different.
Cal is an interesting one. So the more I check on Twitter, the more endorsements on Twitter I see for Tosh Lupoi, the defensive coordinator currently at Oregon, used to play at Cal as well. But it was interesting because when I was like Googling stuff for Cal, I guess he was like suspended in 2010 when he was coaching there because he instructed their nose tackle to fake an injury when they were playing against Oregon. He also, when he was going to take the job at Washington, he kind of did the Lane Kiffin, I guess, like where he was leaving Cal, but then he acted in bad faith by like telling recruits to come over to UW and all this stuff. So I'm like, this is the guy that you want to come back to your school because if he's successful in Cal, and then
he's a former player, to be fair. I get it. He's the favorite more because he's with Oregon.
And
let's be honest.
And not a lot of people within the Cal circle know or trust at this point how good of a head coach Nick Rolovich could be. And Tosh Lupoi is a good recruiter. Like that's what he brings to Oregon. He is a really, really good recruiter. But Oregon would be like the Detroit Lions of last season and get both coordinators poached because their OC and Will Stein got hired by Kentucky. So Tosh Lupoi potentially could be on the out there at Oregon. I think Dan Lanning is a good coach there for the Ducks, and he'll reload just fine. And he's a defensive guy, so if he loses the defensive side, they'll be fine.
I would not be worried.
Tosh Lupoi, I'm almost rather Tosh Lupoi than Nick Rolovich because at least it will maybe hamper the competing for the Hawaii players if Nick Rolovich were to get that head coaching position at Cal. But the interesting thing is, and Ron Rivera, the GM for Cal, he seems to he put it out there that he is going to not entirely rely, but let Jaren Keave-Sangapolu-Tele actually have a little bit of a say on potentially who the next head coach is going to be at Cal. So that will be interesting to know if he's comfortable with Nick Rolovich being there because, I mean, guarantee Nick probably would love that job over there at Cal to be the more than just the interim. But I don't know. I mean, Tosh Lupoi is likely the guy that almost got Jaren Keave-Sangapolu-Tele to switch up and go to Oregon. So it's an interesting, I have my popcorn ready for what is going to happen with that Cal job. Sure. And if it is not Tosh Lupoi, the crash out that will happen amongst Cal fans.
I would assume it's going to be Lupoi. That was the name that was rumored literally right away as soon as Wilcox was fired. Obviously, as time goes on, more names emerge. Maybe Rolo does win everybody over. I'm never really hire the interim to be the full-time at the same place. I think you can hire the interim from another place to be your head coach. But I don't know. There's some weird psychological thing there. It's not because I don't think Nick Rolovich can coach. I actually think quite the opposite. I want him to have his own program, not to just take over a program. You know what I mean? That being said, I don't know what other point I was going to make. I'm too distracted because I've read Caesar's comment a couple of times.
I was wondering. I didn't have the chat open, but I was wondering if that was going to hit home when I mentioned Kalani Sitake moving potentially. And as Colin mentioned, also it is the rumor mill that Penn State is the top choice for Penn State. Now, if he goes or not is left to be seen. But yes, Kalani Sitake is the front runner apparently in the Penn State job.
Sorry, that is why my focus was split for a moment there. But yes, the rumor is that Kalani Sitake is deciding between BYU and Penn State. Penn State, the rumored offer is $11 million on the table per year. By the way, if he took that, I would too. I think there are 5 coaches in FBS football making that much per year. As Ryan Day,
Lane Kiffin,
Dan Lanning probably, Kirby Smart. I feel that those are probably the 4. But yes, that is the rumor as of right now. I don't even know if it was a joke, but they're pulling out all the stops from BYU. Crumble Cookie CEO is he's the actual, like, he's a donor to BYU. He's apparently getting involved. All their top donors are getting involved. They do not want to lose him. And I'm going to say this, by the way, it's kind of nice to see some school go to bat so hard and be like, no, you're not poaching our coach. He's our coach. It's kind of cool to see. So I am curious how that ends up. It's way more fun than the Lane Kiffin conversation to me.
Exactly.
Tosh Lupoy, I think, would be a great coach for Cal. I also think Rollo will be a great coach for whoever ends up. Somebody's going to give him another chance here soon, if he wants one.
Yeah.
I hope he gets it. Cool to hear that Jaren's going to have an opportunity to have a little bit of a say in picking Cal's next coach. I mean, to be fair, it's not professional sports, kind of is. Jaren's the franchise at Cal right now.
Yeah.
You got to get that hire right. You got to make sure he's happy. And you also got to make sure that he's going to make sure that Jaren continues his upward trajectory. Because if Jaren looks like a number 1 overall pick in a couple of years, it's a pretty good chance that Cal's going to be playing in the college football playoff. I'm pretty comfortable saying that one.
Yeah, because after this, right, quarterback's there, and now they'll be able to prove that, hey, at least 2 offensive players, like, you have someone that will get you the football and win games and shore up every other position. I want to mention one more thing before we take a break and close out here, that I just wanted to send, like, well wishes and good vibes to former UH player and coach that was previously the head, or I guess technically currently the head coach at Ohio, and Brian Smith. It was announced yesterday that he will be on leave for an undetermined period of time beginning yesterday, December 1st. So associate head coach in D.C., John Hauser, was named the interim head coach. And Ohio, it was a shock in social media because Ohio has done very well this season. Didn't make the MAC championship, as of course their goal is, but still finished 8-4, 6-2 in the MAC, and awaiting Bo selection. So hope everything's okay. He still is technically the head coach there because it just says he's on leave. So I just hope, everything's good with health and whatever is going on, because usually that's what it is. And it doesn't seem like, and I would be shocked if it was any type of scandal, because I know Coach Smitty, and that would be shocked if it was anything like that, like I don't know, like how we were talking about the other coach, like a hazing situation. So
it's not something
my
I'm
mind
worried
always
about
goes to, like, oh my gosh, is like his health okay? Is his family okay at that point? So sending well wishes to Brian Smith as he is on leave from Ohio at the moment.
Yeah, same. Completely echo the same sentiment. Hope everything is okay or will be okay in the near future. Always unfortunate whenever you have to step away, because that also, to me, is something that it seems like this is just a step back and whatever, because it was so shocking to everyone in the social media sphere. I will say this, and I don't have to say this to the beautiful people because they know. Please don't speculate on this. It is incredibly annoying to see all of the people be like, oh, recruiting violations.
Yeah.
If you don't know, shut up.
Yeah.
Just let things be. It's okay.
It's okay. And again, we hope that Coach Smitty is okay and things get figured out and worked out in whatever is going on. Again, still technically the head coach at Ohio, as he is just on leave in terms of what the official statement was out of the Bobcats program. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back to a short time to close it out. Didn't leave much time for the HB Chaminade preview, but that's what we'll close out with when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel. You can watch on demand or listen on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Again, we're doing a special YouTube live stream because there was a lot to talk about. Talk some NFL, college football coaching carousel, heard from a couple of UH seniors, talk some Rainbow Wahine basketball, a bunch of stuff. And now closing it out here, I'm going to kick it for the last few minutes over to Paul because Paul will be on the TV broadcast tonight alongside Kanoa Leahy to bring you coverage of the Chaminade versus HPU men's and women PM, or just following the women's game. So I will kick it over to you, Paul, because we don't have that much time left, and give the beautiful people just a brief preview of what they can expect in the two games this evening.
Yeah, I can't believe they agreed to put this ugly mug on TV again. It's crazy. It's going to be fun. Two really competitive games, I think, are in store for us tonight. Start with the women. Obviously, we've seen the past 2 years, these two programs have split their matchups. I think that there's good digits, but they, similar to the Rainbow Wahine, have some key pieces that are a bit younger. So it depends on how fast they're able to grow up, whether it's Kalissa Ng as a sophomore, if it's Mia Fry as a freshman. Take your pick of whatever players on that team. Think it's going to be a lot of fun. That one starts at 5. And then with the men, that one feels like it's going to be a slugfest. We saw what Chaminade has been able to do against Division I talent this year, a really unique style that they play, high pressure, high turnover forcing team. HPU, luckily for them, have been off for a bit. They got some time to kind of rest their bodies while also adjusting for the unique style that the Swords play. That's going to be really important for them. If they can take care of the ball, I think they're better than Chaminade. The thing is, Chaminade makes everybody turn the ball over. So you have to be on your P's and Q's tonight. You've got some real quality guards going at it, whether it's Nathan Medina over on the Chaminade side or Quentin Meza, Joshua West, Avi Halper over on the HPU side. You got the King twins over for Chaminade as well, who, if they have good games, it seems that Chaminade wins. If they have bad games, it seems that Chaminade loses. There are some hints at maybe some keys for tonight's game, but overall, you're just going to have to tune in and watch, or come join us down at the Shark Tank for some fun as well. Should be a great time.
Woohoo! And just a reminder, the men's teams, both Chaminade and HPU, gave UH a kind of a scare in their games against the Rainbow Warriors, so it is going to be a slugfest definitely in the men's game, but tune in on Spectrum Sports 5 and 7 approximate times with Paul Brecht and Kanoa Leahy, and or come down to the Shark Tank. I'll be there tonight as well. But for now, we gotta go. For Paul Brecht, Ku'ule Agbayani, mahalo for listening and watching. It's been Wake Up in the Den. Bye.
1, 2, 3.